Hi guys, welcome back. I'm going to do a quick read. I've done a bit of meditation and I've been preparing for the other videos I intend to do, which is chakra-based readings, numerology for twin flames. I've been doing thumbnails, the aspect of the journey. And with the meditation, I've actually reflected, obviously, on the energy of the masculine. That's coming through very loudly. And this is going to be quite brief. One of the downloads I've got, and especially in the twin flame journey, hi Giggle, you tend to find there is a lot of ebbs and flows going on with feminines at the moment. Morning, my love. Now, regardless of whether you are in union, reunion, contact, non-contact, it makes no difference. Perspective is everything. Now, I am finding that the energy that's coming through, this is a transitional state, and it's a very important month, okay? The energies are really intense. You're going to be either energetically feeling a shift or seeing a shift. Now, the shift that's coming through, a lot of you have been wondering whether the masculine is going to take their power back. And it's an interesting subject matter that has been coming up. Now, I am finding, a lot of the journey does teach us to do the work. Now, the work is the work, and it's very separate to the twin flame journey. Now, the reason I say it's separate is because the pain body experience, is which I've referred to for a very long time, all comes down to the spiritual blockages we've directly got. The trigger points that come up within the connection, we almost in a prospective sense feel we need to be perfect when we go back in, that there's got to be healthy boundaries, that there's got to be this perfectified kind of scenario of how things are supposed to be. In fact, it's actually the polar opposite. Everything is directly divinely guided. I do feel that anything that does come up, you will develop ways to communicate. And even if you're not in union, this is still, at this point in time, very relevant. And the reason I'm saying that is because each person's journey is very unique. So the needs and the requirements will be almost like different for each person. So even if you're not in connection, doesn't mean connection isn't moving. Now, any trigger points that come up are there to shift both feminine and masculine. So if you are communicating and you're looking at it and you're thinking, gee, it's really hard right now, there is a lot of shadow energies coming through, okay? There is dark energies coming through. With those dark energies, they're there to test you. They're there to test you to a point that in a prospective sense, you may trigger each other, but the trigger points aren't coming from you. They're coming from external sources. With the trigger points, though, they're there to push each party into their power. Even if you're not feeling that the power is being owned, don't get triggered by it, because the energy is very much shifting with the masculine. There is a lot of meditated state going on. There's a lot of energy where they're reflecting upon what they want. They know what they want, but it's almost similar to the feminine's awakening. They're coming to a place where they're not wanting the burdens or the hassles, but they're doing the clean-up effect in their life, so to speak. Feminines also are going through a secondary aspect in intervals of dark night of soul and trigger mode. Now, it doesn't mean to say you're going into the aspect fully of the deep, deep darkness. Welcome, Stefan. It's the trigger points you'll jump into and you'll jump out of quite quickly, but they can be very, very aggressive, okay? So with the aggression, try not to take your own personality personal at the moment, because it is very, very intense. I mean, if you can look at the ascension symptoms and Google them, they're at approximately a 9.4, which is extremely high. Moving into the Libra moon, I do feel it will increase, and I am seeing a date of the 18th being quite relevant to a big transformation coming through, and I really do feel this is going to be quite a heavy month, but it is divinely guided. So buckle up and watch the show. I did say to my client earlier, grab a bag of popcorn, as my girlfriend Lauren would say, because I am feeling as though this is going to be one hell of a show. Now, some sense of a trigger point is going to come up, potentially for those of you who are in contact between you, but also very separately. The energy directly is coming very separately. So this is coming from external situations. It can be where they're feeling spiritually blocked and they're wishing to liberate themselves. It can also be at a financial level. You know, when we look at karmic energy, we tend to deem it as a person. Yeah, it can be. But our energy of what blocks us might be from trusting our truth, from feeling we're worthy. A lot of solar plexus and sacral chakras been coming up, so you're really guided to deal with that at the moment. And definitely get some citrine or amethyst. You can use crystals to help you. Don't feel the need to push or press. The reason I'm saying that is because you are protected, okay? Yes, we can do the crystals, we can do the clearing, and we can do everything we need to do to get grounded, but everything is a process. So even at a 3D level, if you're feeling things aren't shifting, they are, disconnect from the mindset that it's not, because that's blocking you. Now, what I'm saying is there is going to be a catalyst to a transformation in this situation. And how it comes about, you're going to need to trust the process. Yep, just let it go. There will be a lot of aggression this month. There you go. They just flew out of my hand. There will be a lot of aggression this month. So prepare yourself for what's to come, because it's only going to increase. I do feel this is the turning point of where it's going to shift for the masculine. I'll leave it there. See? They're very angry, but they're not angry with the feminines. Okay? They're angry with the situations. It's happened again. They're angry with the situations of what's going on around them. And it's forcing them to own their power. It's forcing them. You'll find if you're in contact, they're not angry with themselves. Yes, to a degree, because they understand the reasons why they're being patient with situations, but it's no longer tolerant. Does that make sense? It's like, I don't want to be. I don't have to be. Why am I battling with this? When at a 3D level, some of the old frequency, I lost my voice. There you go. Some of the old frequency is there to a degree where they're wanting to communicate, but their consciousness, and I'm hearing the term manipulation, and my throat literally just went. Manipulation in a sense that they're trying to keep things balanced, and it's becoming difficult. A lot of times, and the cards that come up this month were directly correlating with two mountains and looking either way and knowing that both scenarios were going to end up problematic, but they were going to have to deal with it. That can be two direct ways of dealing with the situation or two direct issues, and they're trying to tackle it. So it could be the energy with you and the twin, or two individual parties that they're direct dealing with, or two potential roads that they're trying to deal with, and it's problematic. I do feel it's coming up to a point where they're eating quite a lot and then purging and then sleeping, and it's ebbs and flows similar to the femininity of needing to recoup the body's frequency. By the next day, they're upgrading and they're dealing with another purge. Okay, so it's on a daily interval at this point in time. There's a lot of cruel energy around them. Okay, so it can feel that the energy itself is very cruel around them. It can be dealing with cruelty, and this is on any level, themselves towards situations, but it's coming towards them at the moment. And it's harsh situations that have led them to where they are right now. And some of the ways in which they were operating weren't directly on purpose. It was more due to the circumstances and the learnings of what we directly were purging previously to reaching this point where we are. They're really tired of the delay. They're tired of being paused. They're tired of having to put their scenario on hold. A very warm welcome. They're wanting to move forward really fiercely, and it's really frustrating them. And I keep seeing a vice in my head. It's like suppression, suppressed energy, ready to blow it. And look, this year very much is the Phoenix rising. The whole year is. Again, being a number 7, everything that we're dealing with right now at a 3D level is divinely guided. So even if it looks shitty, you're at the right place at the right time, doing the right things, even if you're feeling critical towards yourself. Breathe through the energy, however you're directly dealing with it, whether it be with them at a 3D or whether it be with other people. There is a lot of aggression, okay? What's pressing them is pushing them forward because they're wanting this fresh start. They're over the BS. They're over being held back. So don't be surprised if it looks messy before it looks clean. But to them, it already feels it's been a mess for a very long time. And they've sort of had an absolute gutful. If you are in contact, don't be surprised if they wake up one day and just say, this is what it's going to be. Because I do really feel as though they really are doing their very best at what they're dealing with. And it has got to that point where they're really at breaking point with it and they're wanting to move forward. This is very much a liberated energy I'm feeling. And what they're wanting to move towards is divine feminine, okay? Or the feminine frequency, whoever's holding it. Now, you know, depending on who you listen to in a sense of readers, both feminines and masculines hold both those energies, feminine and masculine. The feminine is being extremely tested right now, energetically, spiritually, mentally, psychologically. Masculines also, as well as the cleanup effect. So it's similar to the moving out of the cycle of the dark night of the soul and having a visit to it, but then getting back to the point where they're thinking, I'm not going back there. And the anger, because what they're seeing in a sense of moving forward is what they're wanting, but they're being pulled back. Again, I'm feeling their ego frequency coming through where they're feeling very blocked. Now, with that, there are a lot of people that are being, it could be bullies, it could be the way they're manipulating them, and it might be that they're feeling that they're needing to do this to cope with it. But I am seeing this to be the catalyst to the situation of change. They're still wanting to do things the nice way though, and this is what's affecting them because in their intuition, and this is the problem, right? When they're reaching this point, they're going to have the clarity because they're then going to the ascension state, and that's where you're going to notice if you're in communication, they're very fatigued because they're reaching to this third eye point. Once they reach the third eye point, if they finalize that battle with the ego, and they can actually gain the complete perspective, they're going to see the truth of it. You don't need to lead them to it. Just try and focus your energy back on yourself and detach from the outcome of what you're feeling. It needs to be or needs to happen. If you are communicating, communicate in a way where it's very separate, and that's only because there are a lot of external situations coming at them at the moment to trigger them into this frequency. It's actually, it's a very impressive frequency of where they're getting to and how much they've actually grown. And I feel potentially in the last week, really the shift has moved energetically quite heavily so. Yeah, they're really damn straight, ready to go right on Emerald. Now, I'm feeling as though even with this color, with the green, very much heart chakra, they're only doing what makes them happy. They're following their heart. Some people might be manipulating them through this, but they're seeing the truth of that now. And I'm going to pull a clarifier on it. Okay. They feel that people are going overboard to really push them into doing what they feel is best for them. They also feel as though people are going overboard with bullying. They're tired of the stagnation. It's like these people around them are trying to pull them back, and this is what's going to liberate them, is them doing that. Sounds horrible, but because there's only so much a person can take in that frequency. Again, I'll say it can be a job, it can be a person, it could be a parent, it could be their mother, their father, siblings, whatever the karmic frequency is that's holding them back. Ultimately, it's actually them, but at an energetic level, because it's a karmic cleanup effect, they deem it as the phoenix rising, the burn-off effect, okay? So it's a bit like cleaning up the mess and self-liberation, and both feminines and masculines are going through that at the moment. See? They really want to say something. Yeah. They feel they're having to lie. So they're being someone that they don't want to be right now because they actually have outgrown it. I do feel it's almost like a walk-in effect of when the person has actually purged and had a level up and got to the point where it no longer resonates being in a particular way for them at this point in time. And what they're wanting to do is actually move forward. Okay, feminines. Okay, you guys are well ready. You're like, you know what? I'm tired of the ups and downs, and I don't feel, I think spiritually, even if you're being critical towards yourself, you actually are ready. And even if you're having adversity, you are ready, okay? The energy around you with the Neptune frequency is giving people nightmares. It's also the aspect of illusion. So we can potentially be feeling very critical towards ourselves, critical towards the situation, triggered. Again, it is a temporary energy, but it does feel horrendous. So you can be getting to a stage where you're thinking, God, you know, am I actually ready for this process? Yes, you are. Again, it is divinely guided. You might be even thinking that some of the ways you're communicating is the incorrect way, and you're bringing yourself correct, or you're being critical towards yourself with the way potentially you're feeling about certain things or reacting to certain things or people directly around you. Like I said, there is a lot of energy around that's causing a great deal of triggers at the moment. A lot of fatigue as well. So don't be surprised if you're having a really great day, you feel really energetic, and then you're feeling very fatigued again. Try and keep your fluids up. Definitely with the crown activation, again, you know, staying in the 5D to grab clarity of the notion of what's going on around you is going to be really important right now. Gaining perspective outside of it. Try not to focus too much on the 3D of what you're physically seeing. And it feels like similar to a Venus retrograde. And the reason I say that is because feminines are very fatigued. So you can be looking at it and thinking, potentially, is there movement forward? Is there an energy and a way for us to do that? Yes, there is, but due to your fatigue and because you're having a spiritual upgrade at this level where you're at, it is running you down to a point of questioning things. The dark energy, which is directly connected to Neptune, can almost muck with you psychologically where you're thinking you're on the wrong path, a bit like Venus retrograde, like have I bought the candy from the wrong candy shop? Leave it for a few weeks. Try to just keep as grounded as possible and keep moving through. The energy and the upgrade of what it's going to give you is going to give you clarity beyond belief. Detach from how you feel it needs to look right now, because that is potentially blocking you. If you feel that the masculine isn't dealing with something in a certain fashion, detach and refocus on yourself right now. Your energy might be, good God, are you ready? Okay, and this is feminine's energy coming in. Are you ready for commitment? Only because you're focusing too heavily on the 3D right now. Everything is a process, even because you guys are looking at the aspect of how long your awakening took. This is really triggering you guys to make you feel that energetically, if you had to wait 3 years for this to move, you go, fuck this shit. And I'm just saying it because we all do it. It's not such, okay? If energies come towards you, it's divinely guided. You're meant to deal with it. If they don't, then it's protecting you. And again, it's all divinely guided. It's not to say that movement isn't happening. It is. It's just happening in a different wavelength, okay? It's happening in a different way. So never, ever, ever look at the situation and go, nothing's happened. Incorrect. Everything is always moving. Nothing is ever staying the same. We're too connected to the 3D. When we're in separation, we need to get to the 5D and focus on raising our vibration. Okay. It is going to be a change for the better. Whatever's coming in, trust in the process. It's going to be a change for the better. And it is going to be very quick. Okay. The passion, the frequency, it's there. It's being manifested. Okay, some of you are feeling, and again, heart chakra for feminines, you're feeling unfortunate. Yes, some of the painful energies are coming up. Get to a place where you do look at them. You do need to look at them if they're coming up because they're deemed as a trigger point, and it's loving to actually nurture yourself enough to acknowledge them, but don't live there, okay, because there are better days coming. If we keep focusing on only what we didn't have, what we lost, what hurt us, we can't raise our frequency, but we do need to actually look at it, to release it, to let it lay to rest. The Saturn and Pluto energy all denotes endings and new beginnings, okay? We do tend to look at it again 2-3 days, that, oh my God, that means it's never going to be. No, you're ending a cycle, a way of being, a vibration, a thought pattern. Things do need to move, okay? So the movement, sometimes energetically when feminines have sent the signal out that movement needs to happen, it can come in a messy way, okay? So I'm just saying, you guys want a movement, you're going to get it, but it's a bit like Forrest Gump said, life is like a box of chocolates. You don't know what you're going to get, okay? Be careful what you wish for because, yes, it can come in super swiftly, but it can look like a dog stomach coming in, and then you've just got to pick the pieces up as they stand. This cycle moving into the Libra moon is going to be really interesting. They may be dealing with contracts and legalities currently, which is really, and it can be a soul contract. They're also focused on you in a soul contract. Some of them may be getting into employment and moving into that financial aspect. Others may be moving towards divorces and ending that cycle. But again, there's the aspect to it, the paperwork, the aspects of things that they need to clean up. Those things are coming through loud and clear. They're also wanting to offer more romance, and it might look like young when they move towards you. But at the same time, I am feeling it's a genuine emotional connection they feel they can have with you. Even if they do go into hermit mode, again, don't take it personal. It's due to external situations and they're doing a lot of inner reflection. So I'm actually feeling this card to be more correlating with their mindset, not just 3D. Most of you, don't be surprised if you didn't get a lot of contact around Mercury retrograde, or it was sort of quite quiet, although the trigger points were there. They definitely are heavier now. Again, they are focused on, you know, their finances and wanting to get those things sorted. They feel that very old-fashioned frequency. They feel as though it's their energy and they're taking their power back. They're taking their power back, guys. 7 again. This month, they're taking their power back. They're like, no ifs and buts about it. This is happening. Advice for feminine. Between you, there's love. They're focused on love. Even if they can't see how to proceed forward, their third eye is going to be activated. For you guys, there is a lot of chemistry coming up. But you've got to know you're worth it, okay? You need to know that at a manifestation level, whatever is yours is always going to come back to you. You also need to understand the connection between you and this individual. Releasing it isn't releasing them, it's releasing the need to control the steering wheel. The trigger points that are going to come up, yes, will make you feel very vulnerable, and that's probably with the body that's coming through, but you do, it can be very vulnerable to bare yourself to this person at something at a different level than just not this, okay? So this can be coming up for you too. Have faith, release, which is what I said, and know, look at that, same thing, same color. Know that they, in your crown chakra, will reach the third eye to the point they can then ascend. Trust that they're going to liberate themselves through this process. Communication is coming in. But they're thinking about what they're going to say. And they're like, I want to say it. And I don't feel this is just to you guys, okay? I feel this is in general to the BS around them. This is what's going to liberate them, to free them of the shackles of the chastity towards their life, so that they can deal with it. But trust in the process that they're going to do it the way they feel fit. And it's also going to come about in a way where the moon energy is going to really trigger them, and it's through the cycles. Look at how the moon goes bigger to smaller. I do feel by the full moon energy of Libra, things are going to look very different for all of us. Any questions before I go to bed at 11? I mean, you're lucky I'm awake these days, guys, because the upgrades spiritually, I feel, for a lot of the masculines and feminines are knocking us for 6. And I just want to sleep. I've been so busy. Any questions before I go? But yes, do trust in the process. I mean, they're getting angry. They're getting very angry. Most welcome, Heidi. Yeah, it could be. But the problem is, in the void, there are no zodiac signs. So our perspective perception can be quite triggered. Logic cannot be there, as you know, Shelley. But I am finding that a lot of you, energetically, what you'll find is when this transformation is coming through and you're having a purge, you'll get very fatigued. That's a direct correlation with your twin. Having a purge, having an upgrade. And they're going to start mirroring each other simultaneously. So regardless of whether you're not in communication, you'll know that you'll get super fatigued, and then you'll be very energetic, and that's them purging an aspect of a blockage to move forward. So because many of you have done work on yourself, what you're finding is you're not noticing that it's their frequency. You're assisting the cycle of purging. The reason you're not noticing is because you've removed the aspect of the need for that aspect of codependency. So you're sort of like, it must be me. It is, but you're transmuting it, and you're coming out of the trigger point quicker. My twin's been, sort of, yeah, I'd agree, yeah. My daughter had a very interesting perspective. A lot of you, which is true, but when you're triggered, you don't look at things, but you need to be grounded. A lot of times when you guys are saying, they're nicer to the karmics and blah, 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 or how come they give that to them and they don't to us? They don't, how do I put it? I'll try and put it in the nicest possible way. With certain people, we have to be a certain way because it's an expectation. With other people, that we can divinely be ourselves. You see the good, the bad, and the ugly, and that is love. The good, the bad, and the ugly. So if you potentially are going, hey, Barley's, you're going to come to me like that. But the reality is, if you love someone unconditionally, they come to you in any which way, shape, or form. Obviously, I'm not talking about aggression, like belting or something to that degree, but I mean, you see a person in their humanity in the good and the bad and the ugly. So with other people, the reason they weren't to that degree as such is because there was an expectation. Does that make sense? Anyway, if you are wanting to make a booking to look at your twin flame path, feel free to look at the link. If I forget to put it in there, I will do it tomorrow. Otherwise, love and light, and I'll be back for another reading.